So many of the workout challenges, fitness challenges, whatever, that are out there are just not sustainable at all. I've trained hundreds of people over the last 6 years, and I'm gonna be honest, if I gave like 99% of them the 75 hard challenge, even with my guidance, accountability, all that fun stuff, they would probably fail because it's just not really realistic. Myself included would also fail because I've tried that challenge so many times, and every single time I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I work a 9 to 5, I own my own business, I do all of this. When do you think I'm fitting in 2 workouts? And I live in Arizona. You think I'm going outside for that second workout? Absolutely not. Obviously, so many people are successful at that challenge and they succeed at it, and I think that's incredible. And I've seen so many success stories of people who are just like raving about how it changed their life and how much they love it, which is like 10 out of 10. We love to see it. But for the average person, I just think it's not a realistic goal. If you don't know me, my name's Haley. I'm your realistic balance bestie, helping you build a stronger brain and body. Today is not gonna be just bashing 75 hard, because that's not my goal. But my goal was to create a fitness challenge that was actually doable, achievable, sustainable, and exciting to do. I wanted to create a challenge that was for people who are either brand new to the gym, maybe you've taken significant time off, or maybe you've just never had a consistent routine or something that you've consistently done before. Ironically enough, I actually wanted to start this challenge on January 1st. I thought that it was going to be the perfect New Year's reset. I was going to get all this done. I was so excited. I even grocery shopped. I had everything planned out. All my meals were ready. I had a new workout program I was going to start. Everything was laid out. And then I woke up on January 1st and got a phone call that my grandpa had passed away. And so obviously that put a huge damper in my plans, my life in general, and just everything. And I was grieving for a very long time, rightfully so. Obviously I still am, but like, you know what I mean. And then right when I was getting to a point where I was like, okay, I'm starting to be able to function a little bit again, I found out that I had appendicitis. And so then I had to get surgery, get my appendix out, and I was told that I couldn't lift for 6 weeks. So that puts me to 8 weeks now of no real consistency, kind of just flung out on my ass, literally tossed around, not really understanding what's going on in my life, because I went from at least having the gym as something that I could do and heavy lift and do all this stuff to not being able to heavy lift because I had to heal from surgery, and dealing with all of that, plus all of the just mental chaos of grieving. It has been so much. So if you are anywhere in a situation similar to this, or even just in a place where you're like, I don't really like what's going on in my life, I want to switch it up, then we're going to be besties and we're going to do this together. So let's cut the shit and get right to the challenge. I am naming this challenge 56 Real because that's what I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be real. I wanted it to be something that's doable, and it's 56 days, obviously 8 weeks, so 2 months, whatever, however you want to think about it. 56 days is the length of this challenge. This is 5 tasks that you have to complete every single week, not every single day, every single week. And I know what you're thinking, Haley, if I don't do something every day, then it's actually not worth it. It's not doing any good for me. No, that's just not true. If you were to make $1,000 only Monday through Friday, you wouldn't get to the weekend and be like, oh my God, I'm so broke, I have no money, I don't make any money, because you didn't make money on Saturday and Sunday. No, you would only say that you're broke if you only made $1,000 one day out of the month. Because even though you're only working Monday through Friday, you're still getting things done, you're still making money, you are still succeeding. And your fitness journey is kind of the same way. As long as you're doing something more often than you're not doing it, you're going to see change. So your 5 tasks for the week. Number 1, you are going to read 50 pages of a nonfiction book or listen to an hour's worth of an audiobook. Number 2, you're going to complete 50 minutes in the entire week of meditation. Number 3, we are drinking 500 ounces of water in the whole week, not in a day, in the week. Number 4 is 50 minutes of stretching, again in the week. And number 5 is 5 30-minute movement sessions in your week. Now, in case you are listening, I'm gonna say it again. These are things you have to do throughout the course of a week, not every single day. You are not drinking 500 ounces of water in one day. I feel like I have to make that very clear. But the beauty of this challenge is that it gives you the freedom and flexibility to kind of add things in as you see fit. So if you get to the end of the week and you're like, oh fuck, I haven't stretched at all this week, you could pop on YouTube and be like, oh, I'm gonna do a 50-minute yoga class, or maybe you go take a yoga class, or you just do some stretching while you watch Netflix or something like that. Same with the reading. You might complete your reading all in one session, or you might break it up through little bits and pieces throughout the week whenever you have a chance to just like read 5 to 10 pages here and there. You really get to play around with the variables here while still making such positive changes in your life, but doing it in a way that actually gives you the responsibility of making time to make it work for you and the freedom to just kind of play around with it and switch it up. If you're like, okay, this week I know that I have a super big meeting this day, then I won't do my workout session after work this day, but I'll move it to the next day. And you'll still get in all 5 workouts, but you have the chance to kind of make it work for your life. So let's break down why each one of these 5 tasks are actually important for your beginner fitness journey. For the nonfiction reading, this is so important, and I know it kind of goes without saying that obviously reading's good because it stimulates your brain and blah, 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 reading and learning and everything is just generally good for you. But I especially think that in a time where our brains are super used to getting our information in short spurts and things like TikTok and Reels and all that stuff, we are just constantly being stimulated by new things. It's really important to go kind of back to basics and get used to just reading something for an extended period of time. Even if that time is just like 10 minutes, you are getting your brain used to reading and learning and accepting longer spurts of information. Plus, again, kind of goes without saying that it's just so important to widen your perspective on things. Again, in a world where we're very used to social media and getting things that are fed to be with what we already consume, it's important to just get out there and read something new that you're like, wow, I would have never thought about this. And you can find nonfiction books on literally every single topic, but I especially think that it's helpful and interesting to look up topics that you're actually struggling with or interested in. So if you're struggling with your body image or things like that, or maybe you feel anxious when you have to go to the gym, or you are just trying to overcome anxiety in general, there are books on all of those topics. You literally just have to find them. Meditation. I know meditation sounds boring, and you might even be like, dude, I have tried this and I hate it. It doesn't work for me. Hear me out. You can start by just trying a walking meditation or doing a meditation while you do the dishes, while you cook a meal, whatever. You can do meditations with your eyes closed. It doesn't have to be this whole situation of like sitting cross-legged and being in a dark space and just like saying Om to yourself. You can do meditations in so many different ways, and I actually think that's one of the best ways to get into it if you struggle with keeping your attention or your focus while you're meditating. Because essentially you are just focusing on the experience of being present and being mindful of what you're doing, where you're at, what you're thinking about, and just getting used to kind of breathing through everything that you're doing. And you're gonna notice such a difference in not only your mindset on things, but your reactions to certain things and just kind of how you perceive the world as a whole after doing even 50 minutes of meditation in a week. And I know that sounds dramatic, but don't knock it till you try it. For your water intake, I know 500 ounces in a week seems excessive, but this is a challenge after all. So we have to make it something that's a little bit beyond our reach. And if you break it down, it's only about 70 ounces of water a day. So that means that if you're aiming for those 70 ounces, maybe one day you get 60 ounces. Then the next day you're gonna chug an extra 10 to make up for that. And you can kind of play around with it and adjust it to your needs. But overall, the water is going to be the thing that you're going to have to be most conscious of throughout your day. So I would suggest maybe setting alarms or little reminders or things to just drink water here and there. You know, you got to just take a little sip. Stretching is one of those things that we all hate until we need it. And I say we, but I really mean me. I hated stretching. I literally not only sucked at it, but I still kind of do, if we're being honest. But I just hated doing it. I thought it was boring. I was like, this sucks. This is not even a good time. It doesn't feel good. And then I realized that I was getting old. And I realized that I just had tightness in like weird places. I was like, oh my God, I move a certain way. My back hurts. I sleep wrong. My neck hurts the next day. I have to stretch it out. And then when you need stretching, you're like, okay, this kind of slaps, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of helpful, like, oh, I hurt my neck, let me stretch it out, that feels really good. But then you forget about it again until the next time that you need to stretch. And it's just this endless cycle. And I really hate to admit it, but stretching has improved my life, not only like physically, but mentally as well in the last 6 months. And I take yoga classes, and the instructor always says, whenever we're doing our yoga before we do a meditation, she'll say that we have to open our body before we can open our mind. And I kind of thought that was like some woo hippie ass shit at first, but it actually really works. So whenever I do my like 5 to 10 minute meditation every single day, I will do 5 minutes of stretching beforehand, because I feel like it really does. Maybe it's just the act of getting yourself into a space where you're just kind of being calm and just focusing on your body, and that might be all it is to it, but I swear to God, it makes such a difference when you try to go right into a meditation after stretching, because your brain is just so much more focused, and it just makes for such a more enjoyable meditation experience if you're in that zone already. So I'm not telling you that you have to stretch before your meditation, but I am saying that if you try it, you might become obsessed. So, and for movement, I would be a pretty shitty personal trainer if I didn't add a movement section into these tasks. But I do want to point out that there's a lot of internal and like mental tasks to do in this challenge as well, and that's because I think that it's so important to have a steady, strong mental base when you start your fitness journey, because it is just going to make your entire journey so much easier, more cohesive, and just a more enjoyable experience. So these 5 movement sessions do need to be separate sessions, so 5 different workouts or movement or whatever throughout the course of your week. Now this might mean that you do one day you do one in the morning and one at night. Those are still technically separate sessions, but I just mean that you shouldn't be waiting till Saturday and being like, oh my God, I forgot to do my workouts. I'm gonna do a 3-hour session right now to just knock it off and like check it off my box. That is going to do so much more harm than good. And then you're starting off your next week wildly sore because you just tortured yourself for 3 hours. Plus there's no way to have a productive 3-hour workout. I'm sorry, it's just not possible. So taking the time to have those separate minimum of 30-minute sessions every single week is going to really allow you to kind of build that routine and get into the groove of just, okay, I go and I do this movement, I do this workout, whatever, getting yourself into the zone and like turning your mind on before you do it. And this movement doesn't have to be the gym. It could be walking, it could be Pilates, it could be taking a dance class, whatever it is. As long as you're moving for 30 minutes, that is all that matters. That is the key here. So how do we track it? I will be running a group training version of this challenge on my app starting on March 4th. You do have to pay for that, obviously, but you get a weekly group check-in session, access to the programs on my app, and you get access to all of the mindset programs as well. Plus you get just a general community of people that are also doing this challenge with you. In the app, you can track each item as you do it, and you have them all on one page so that you can go through and just track, I did 5 minutes of meditation today, and then another 5 minutes, so on and so forth, instead of checking it off when it's completely finished. You could also use the free app Habit. I do love this app. I've been using it for years. I do believe that the app refreshes every single day. So if you put in your workouts or your water or things like that, you would just have to take some time at the end of the week to go back and be like, okay, well, this day I did this much water or this much stretching, and then kind of add it all together and just like do like the tiniest bit of math, but you can still track it all that way. Or you can use the Instagram template that I have in my Instagram highlights to just check it off once you've completely finished a task for that week, just because it's cute, you know, why not? If you want to join this group training, I will have some more info down in the description, but again, you can start this literally whenever. You could start it today, you could start it tomorrow, whatever floats your boat. The goal is to just have this be something that can be a natural part of your life and kind of kickstart your journey in a more positive and more sustainable way, so that once you get this challenge down, you're gonna be like, okay, these are things that are now habits in my life that I'm already doing, so it's gonna be easy for me to build on that, or be like, okay, so I wanna start meditating for 10 minutes every day, or I wanna start doing this. And then a challenge where you have to do something daily is going to be so much more natural and so much more sustainable for you. But that is all that I have for you today. So even if you don't join the challenge, you can always check out my app and scroll through the freebies and start a free trial if you want. Just play around with it. I've got a bunch of goodies on there for you to enjoy. Until next time, be kind to your mind, to your body, and to others, and happy healing.